Hello everyone. Myself Professor Rekha Kinigi, Department of Civil Engineering, KLS VDIT Haliyal. I welcome you all for the lecture series on Construction Management and Entrepreneurship with the subject code 18CV51. Today let's start with lecture number 8 from module 1. Let's have a glance on what all we have covered in the previous session. In the previous session, we had a discussion on construction planning. In that, what is construction planning, what are the needs, what are the different objectives and principles of construction planning. And we have also discussed the various activities which are being involved in construction planning. Those include the defining of scope of work, identifying the activities involved, establishing the project duration, defining the procedures for controlling and assigning the resources, developing the appropriate interfaces and so on. So along with this, we have also discussed the different types of project plans, which mainly includes project conceptual plan, project preliminary plan and project detailed plan. Along with these plans, we have also discussed few more plans, that is time plan, manpower plan, material plan, construction equipment planning and financial planning. So all these we have discussed in detail. Now today let's start with the discussion on scheduling. What exactly is scheduling? What are the uses? What are the advantages of having scheduling in an organization? And what are the different types of scheduling? Work breakdown structure. What is the cycle involved or different phases involved in work breakdown structure? Along with that, we shall discuss the methods of scheduling, that is Gantt charts or bar charts, milestone charts or network analysis. After the completion of this session, the student should be able to know a work breakdown structure that is being created at the beginning of the project conception, and it determines each deliverable and their respective timeline before any work begins. And this work breakdown structure is also helpful to monitor and control the project schedule and determine if the project will be completed on the schedule or within the expected stipulated time duration or not. So let's start with the discussion on scheduling, that is the topic for today. Here, what is scheduling? This scheduling is a mechanical process for setting the various planned activities in order by fixing the starting and finishing dates of each part or the activity of work in such a manner that the whole work is executed in orderly and systematic way. So, for any work, the resources required are materials, manpower, machinery and the money. And these resources have to be utilized in a planned and organized manner, that is in an efficient manner, in order to derive the maximum benefits. Further, and these there may be many uncertainties in the availability of resources, that is the resources should be available at the right time at the right place. So the right type of labor or equipment time due to labor unrest or breakdown of machinery, thus to execute the construction work in an efficient manner as well as without wastage of any of the inputs. And these schedules, various project resources need to be prepared. So this work is executed in orderly and systematic way in case of scheduling, and the schedule should indicate the quantity of work, material, labor, equipment, money and time required to complete each operation and the progress of the work. And there are few uses of this scheduling, that is it gives the quantity of work involved, labor, materials and equipment for each of the activity or each of the work, and the actual progress of the work can be checked. How much work is being completed, how much is to be remaining and within what duration it has to be completed, all these can be monitored easily using scheduling. and the project can be carried out in a systematic manner using scheduling. There are few advantages of this scheduling that include the alternate method of construction can be examined at the planning stage and most economical method can be chosen. So out of the many methods or out of the many ways, one best method can be chosen. It gives a clear idea regarding the required men, material and equipment, or in short we can say that the required resources at different stages of work. And here the cost control study of the project at different stages of construction can be periodically reviewed on the basis of expenditure, returns, progress of different items of work. And as the quantity of work and the duration of each operation for which the plants or the equipment's requirements are known, the arrangement of these can be made in within time and also to avoid the unnecessary expenditure by keeping them ideal, or that means the materials or the resources are to be brought whenever they are required. They should not be brought too early nor late. So, here the requirement of funds during the various stages of project can be predicted most accurately, and the actual progress of the schedule shows whether the work is slow or fast. Along with that, the total time required for completion of project is also known. Now let's discuss the few types of scheduling, that is the construction schedule, material schedule, labor schedule, equipment schedule and expenditure schedule. So let's start with the construction schedule. So here in this construction schedule, the construction schedule will give the rate of progress each operation for the each operation and probable date of commencement and completion of the operation. And in this schedule, the work is divided into many operations, and the quantity of each operation and the time allowed for its completion they are being mentioned, and also the amount of work, rate of completing the work with making the allowances for the bad weather is also being done in construction schedule. And here before preparing the construction schedule, there are few details which are to be collected, that is the various operations needed in a particular project, quantity of various items of work involved, number of labors required, number and types of machines and equipment needed, sequence in which the various activities are to be taken in hand, as well as date of starting and finishing of each operation etc. are required. So these are to be collected before we start doing the construction schedule. Now coming on to the labor schedule. The purpose of the labor schedule is to decide the number and the duration of skilled and unskilled labor which are required for the execution of different types of work on different dates. The labor schedule depicts the manpower requirements of the project in a tabular form in various stages. For example, for which week or for which month how many labors are required from which date to which date, so that is being considered in labor schedule. So the main advantages of this labor schedule, they are the required number of labors can be arranged well in advance, and by noting the actual workforce regularly on the chart, a direct measure of labor expenditure on site can be determined or it can be obtained. And it is helpful in efficient and optimum deployment of the labor force in various sections of the project. Along with that, as the labors are arranged as and when required depending upon the nature of work, it reduces the labor cost. So coming on to the material schedule. Here the purpose of the material schedule is to know the requirement of various construction materials as well as in ahead of the start of the project, so that at no stage during the execution of the project work is held up for the want of materials. So this construction schedule can be used as a guide to prepare the material schedule, and the material schedule is the schedule which indicates the date of delivery of each type of material at the site, so that the materials should be delivered and the project site before they need it. So the material schedule may be prepared either month wise or the week wise, depending upon the extent of the schedule or extent of the project and storing space of the project. So the material schedule, as we have said, it indicates the date of delivery of each type of material, that is at least 1 week in advance, and also material schedule is prepared in such a way that the material procured for a particular work should not remain unused at the site for a long period of time, so that it gets deteriorated or damaged or lost. So now let's consider the equipment schedule. What is this equipment schedule? So the success of the modern civil engineering project depends upon, to a larger extent, on the proper usage of the construction equipments. And here if the machines are properly maintained and usefully deployed, they not only accelerate the completion of the project but also bring down the expenditure for the project. And the schedule is prepared before the start of the project to decide the type, number and dates on which a particular equipment is required, and it will be arranged well in advance. And there are few advantages of this schedule, that is, from this schedule the delays in the work that may occur either due to non-availability or the breakdown of equipment can be determined. That is, just few days before the actual requirement of the equipment has to be checked for its maintenance and proper working and so on, so that on the day of usage it does not give any problem while using. So equipment schedule enables the efficient and optimal utilization of plant and equipment on a project. Using this schedule, timely arrangements can be made for renting or deploying a particular equipment at a particular time. So now let's discuss the last one, that is expenditure schedule. Here the essential thing, that is the financial position of the worker, is reviewed at regular intervals to ensure few data or some of the things. This is nothing but expenditure schedule, and this expenditure schedule ensure that the expenditure during the financial year is kept within the allotment of the year, as well as the expenditure on each item of the administrative approval does not exceed the administratively approved amount. So how much amount is being approved for that particular work, within that amount only the work has to be completed, or it will be completed. So now let's start with a discussion on work breakdown structure. What exactly is this work breakdown structure? So this work breakdown structure, or we can call it as WBS, is the technique in project management in which the project is broken down into manageable chunks, and this WBS represents a task oriented family tree of activities, and it organizes or defines and graphically displays the total work to be accomplished in order to achieve the final objective of the project. Here it provides a central organizing concept for the project, and it serves as a common framework for others exercises such as planning, scheduling, cost estimating, budgeting, configuring, monitoring, reporting or directing the works. So the work breakdown structure progresses downwards in the sense that it works from pursuing general to specific objectives, much like a family tree, and it provides a framework for converting a project's objective into specific deliverables. It should also be pointed out that any advantage of the technique will not be easily visible in simple or small projects. And even in medium sized projects, the work breakdown structure need not be, or it may not be needed, as it may suffice to model the project in terms of activities and organizing them into logical arrangements and the sequence. However, as the project grows in complexity and several contractors, subcontractors they are involved, possibly even consultants, they get involved. So the number of activities and their interrelationships become simply too complex to handle using the conventional method. So that is how we need the work breakdown structure. So if we say developing of the work breakdown structure, the work packages are the building blocks of the WBS, that is work breakdown structure. They should be defined to assist the manager in determining the project status or the level of completion of the project. And one of the WBS is the progressive hierarchical breakdown of the project into smaller pieces to the lowest practical level to which cost is applied. And when monitoring and controlling a project, cost and time are areas of primary interest, then the WBS is divided into 4 levels, that is sub project level, task level, work package level and activity level. In the sub project level, here they are being derived by dividing the project work into independent large volume mini projects or the task groups, and the number of sub projects in a project varies with the nature of the project. And in task level, the project or the sub project work can be split up into various tasks, and a task is identifiable and deliverable major work, and it is entirely in itself and can be performed without much interference from the other task. So coming on to the work package level, that is a project can be further divided into more work packages, and work packages form a common base for linking the key functions in project management, and the work package concept leads to the simple management theory of managing, designing, estimating, planning, organizing, directing and communicating and controlling. So here, in case of activity level, the work package can further be broken down into various identifiable jobs and the processes which consume the time and possibly the other resources and are necessary for its completion. So each one of this is called an activity, that is activity level. So now coming on to operation level. So if I say operation level, an activity comprises of one or more operations, and each operation contains a part of the work of the activity. It generally has a particular type or a fixed group of resources which are being associated with it, and it is performed during the scheduled time duration of the activity, and some operations may start with the commencement of the activity while others may take place during its time duration. So this is regarding the work breakdown structure. And what are the uses of this work breakdown structure? It is helpful in identifying the scope of work, preparing the preliminary budget, cost estimating, scheduling, identifying the cost and scheduling at various levels of details, time and cost control, identifying individual or departmental responsibilities, and so on. Now let's start with the different methods of scheduling. There are different methods of scheduling. Those include the Gantt charts and the bar charts, milestone charts, and network analysis. So what is this Gantt chart or the bar chart? The Gantt charts were the basis for the bar graphs and the bar charts. And we can say that bar graphs remain an excellent graphical representation of activity because it is easy to read and understood by all levels of management as well as supervision. So the big advantage of Gantt chart schedule is that they are very easy to understand and follow. So that's because they can relate the activities and their durations to calendar days, and we can easily see and understand when the activity will begin and when it will end up. So the biggest disadvantage of the Gantt chart is that they do not show the interrelationship among the various activities. For example, Gantt charts are not very good in showing the impact that the delay in the activity might have another activity or on the overall duration of the project. So these impacts can be shown only in a network diagram. So the Gantt charts provide only the visual clarity, and they are very good schedules for presenting the project timeline to the owner and end user groups as well as to the public. And the bar chart consists of two coordinate axes, one representing the jobs or the activities to be performed and the other one representing the time lapsed. Now there are few limitations of this bar chart. Those include they can be used only for small projects. It does not show the interdependence between the various activities of the project. The project of the works or progress of the works in the project cannot be monitored scientifically. There will be delay in the works cannot be detected, and it cannot indicate the critical activities of the project, and it gives some idea about the physical progress of the project, but the financial aspects involved in it are not shown. Now coming on to the milestone chart. This milestone chart is a modification over the bar chart, and milestones are key events or the elements of a main activity which are represented by a bar, and these are specific points in time which mark the completion of certain portions of the main activity. These points are those which can be easily identifiable or identified over the main bar, and the activity is broken or subdivided into number of sub activities, each one of the which can be easily recognized during the progress of the project, and controlling can be easily done, and also interrelationship between other similar activities can be easily established. The beginning and the end of these subdivided activities or the tasks, they are termed as milestones. There are few limitations of this milestone chart, that is through controlling can be done better achieved, or through controlling, though controlling can be better achieved with the help of the milestone chart, still it possesses the same deficiency as the bar chart, that is interdependency among the various activities. And within an activity, the relationship between the two specific milestones is being revealed by milestone chart, but the relationship between and among milestone contained in different activities is not being indicated. So these are the things or the points regarding Gantt chart and bar chart and the milestone chart. In network analysis, we have the majorly two types, that is activity on arrow diagram, activity on node diagram. and the network are of two types, that is CPM network and the PERT network. So we shall deal with this network analysis in detail in the next session, so that we can solve the numerical examples also for the next section. Till then we can end up with this. So let's end up today's session here. Thank you.